Right, so I was watching this program before called Maury. It's a long time ago, and it's the episodes where a woman will come on the program and say, oh, it's between these 10 men, and then, you know, they find out it's none of the 10 men, and there's still some wanted fugitive who's not paying child support, and they can't find out who the guy is and stuff. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder in history, who has fathered the most children? Like, what man has like the Guinness World Record of fathering the most children? And I done a search on it a while back, and I'm just going to bring it up now. And basically, it's a man named Genghis Khan. Now, he's known in history. I don't know much about him. I just think he was a king or something way back in the day, somewhere in Central Asia or somewhere like that. And the world's population is either 7.7 or 7.6 billion. Let's say 7.6 billion. And apparently he fathers 0.5% of the entire world's population. Now you'd think 0.5% is nothing. But remember, 0.5% times 7.6 billion. That's 7,600,000,000. If you times 7.6 billion by 0.5%, it gives you a value of that is how much descendants the man has. Like, that is 38 million people. I could not imagine having 38 million descendants. Like, that is crazy. Even in my family, my great grandmother, you know, she passed away probably about 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And my cousin and I was calculating it, how much descendants she had. So obviously she's one person. She had 10 children, but a couple of them died. But anyway, she had pretty much 8 children, and you know, obviously not all of them had children themselves, but a few of them, most of them went on to have children. So when we calculated her descendants, I think about 8 years ago, we totaled about 64. Now obviously that's increased because obviously her great grandchildren have had children and stuff, and that's just amazing that one person could have 64 descendants. But the man has 38 million descendants, and it's because allegedly he had 1,000 children, and allegedly he had between 2,000 and 3,000 wives. So that's what enabled him to have so many descendants. And it just brings me on to another point as well. Like, a lot of people, unfortunately, in the black community, a lot of the black men, you know, don't look after their children. Not all, but a good number. And, you know, unfortunately, they don't look after their children. And unfortunately, they have multiple children with multiple different women. And it got me thinking, maybe it's because, if you've seen some of my early videos, I'm saying that black men are naturally more alpha than the other species of men, the other races of men. So the natural alpha instinct is to reproduce. He wants to make copies of himself. You know, as I said before in other videos, whether you like it or not, we are animals. Now, we're not flipping some feral creatures on the street. No, we're not animals. You know, we've been domesticated, but we still have primal instincts. And our primal instinct is to reproduce, make copies of ourselves. You know, why do you think we have so much sperm? Why do you think one man, Genghis Khan, can reproduce so much times? You know, he's designed to reproduce. He's designed to go on. It's built in our nature, but it's just the social programming that makes us guilty of having children with like lots of different children that we can't look after, which is right. You know, I don't agree with having lots of children with different women that you can't look after. I think you should have children that you can look after and give the time to nurture as well. But if we go back to basic primal instincts, it's within our nature to reproduce as much times as we can, so we can carry on our genes. Because back in Africa, you know, we didn't have social like, you know, social help, social services or anything like that. You know, if you didn't you know, go out and hunt and get food, you would just die. You know, if you didn't have many children, a lot of them would die and then you wouldn't be able to carry on your genes. So it's within a man's natural, an alpha male's natural instinct to want to go on and reproduce with many different women. So that's the reason. It's not an excuse, but that's the reason why a lot of black men have multiple women and multiple children with those women, because it's a natural alpha male instinct to want to reproduce and carry on their genes. But it's just crazy. I just can't get my head around how one person can have 38 million descendants. Like, that just blows my mind. But yeah, so don't watch this video and think, yeah, I'm gonna go out there and start reproducing with different women. No, have a set amount of children. So I don't know, like in my mind, I don't mind just having one child, but you know, if you want to have 2 or 3 children, that's cool, do it, but make sure you can look after those children. Make sure you're going to be around to look after your children as well. Don't have one child in Portugal and then one in flipping Papua New Guinea and then think, yeah, I'm going to live in England. No, look after your children. So if you like the video, subscribe. If you don't like the video, change your station.